When the Biden administration announced that they were going to send Kamala to the southern border, she's going to be the border czar, she's going to be in charge of it. I really didn't expect much. In fact, I expected a train wreck, a flaming dumpster fire. But you know what? After a couple of months, I have to admit, I was totally right. Let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. This is Keith. Welcome to the Ghetto Sapien channel, your home for inner city intelligence. And yeah, let's talk about the border because we've been talking about everything else this week: abortion, the high inflation, possible recession. But we're forgetting about what's going on at the southern border, which has an effect on everything in this country. The press, Kamala hasn't been to the border only but once, and I guess it's being forgotten. That's a sign that crap's hitting the fan because the press doesn't want you to see what's going on there. But there are some intrepid people there who are recording it because thank God there are cell phones and cameras everywhere. Let's check this out. I saw this on Instagram a couple hours ago and thought I'd share it. Little sound would help. Yeah, man, that's a wreck. That's a mess. We should never be seeing lines like that of people just walking in. But thank God, at least the two Texas National Guardsmen were there. At least it looked like something's going on. And they're not even federal. They were sent there by Governor Abbott. I don't know where the hell the feds are there, and they're supposed to be the ones in charge of our border security. So they've given up on it. I don't blame the people who we saw coming through. I'm sure some of them, or most of them, are very good people. They're just coming here for opportunities. But it's not fair that they're jumping line. I can understand why people love this country. Full disclosure, I'm the child of immigrants. My parents are from Jamaica. They both came here in the 1940s when they were teenagers. They left their country, and it's not like they were poor in their country. They were doing fairly decent. My mom was a farm girl from a very large family. We used to call it the tribe. She had I think 15 or 16 brothers and sisters. Hey, you had to make your own farm hands back then. So yeah, she was one of more than a dozen children, but they weren't poor. My father was from the upper middle class. He had I think one or two servants, the whole nine yards. So they had opportunity in Jamaica. Even though it was still under British rule, it was still majority black. So something about the United States drew both of them because they met in New York. They didn't know each other in Jamaica, but it drew them to the United States where they knew they were going into a country where it'd be a minority. They'd be in a minority, instant minority. They'd be even a minority among minorities, being Jamaican. It's must have been 12 at the time in New York. So even among black people, they were kind of exotic. And like I said, they knew it was going to be hard to some degree. But they must have seen something like the giant opportunity that outweighed any kind of racism and bigotry they'd run into. My mother even went to college in Tuskegee, Alabama during, again, the 1940s, early 50s, when this is the pre-civil rights era. So she told me about some of the things that happened there. But she told me kind of unemotionally, and it was just like, well, this is how it was. She couldn't go through the front door to go buy shoes, stuff like that. She had to go in the back, an alleyway. It wasn't told with any bitterness or anything like that, or to make me mad at people who are long dead. It was just another part of her life. My father ran into stuff too. But again, they never told it to me in a way that would kind of tarnish the view they had of this country. They love the country. They never really told me that I should, they never pumped up Jamaica and made it seem like it was much better than the United States. That'd be kind of dumb anyway. Why'd you come here if you thought Jamaica was so much better? Ma, why did you have me here? She'd have me back in Montego Bay. But that wasn't the case. In fact, I remember when I was older, in my early 20s, I was thinking of setting up a business in Jamaica. And I was told that if I had dual citizenship, it'd be easier. So when I ran it past my parents that, hey, can I get my birth certificate? I just need you guys to help me out, to get dual citizenship of Jamaica. Because if I could show my parents were Jamaicans, then whatever. They freaked out when they heard that I was even thinking about applying for dual citizenship in Jamaica. They're like, why did we almost swim over here, for you to want to go back and be a Jamaican citizen after we made sure we had our children in the United States as natural born Americans. So they were big flag waving, 4th of July celebrating Jamaica. My father, some of his favorite music wasn't reggae. It was actually country western. That was weird. But anyway, that's how American they became once they got here. So I get it. I completely understand why people fall in love with this country and would want to come here. But you gotta come here legitimately. You gotta follow the rules. You can't just skip a line. It took my parents years to get here, to qualify to get here. They had to have their health records. They had to make sure they had a sponsor who would ensure that there wouldn't be a strain on the country. So all those things had to be in place before they got here. They couldn't just, just overstayed a visa or whatever back then. They had to follow the rules. It showed how much you loved and respected the country. You follow the rules. And I can't blame the people who are coming across the border either. I'm putting this all on the administration. They're enticing people to come over with free cell phones and promises of free Medicare and free education. Of course they're going to try and get over here. I would too if I lived in a country where, I had no chance of upward mobility. Yeah, you'd come to the United States. But we're not doing them any favor by luring them over here. They fall prey to Mexican cartels. They fall prey to the desert, the heat, and their rape gangs. It's terrible. It's almost like, it'd be like you setting up a playground or an amusement park surrounded by shark-infested water and tell people just come on over. You shouldn't do that. It's irresponsible, and I blame the Biden administration for this. We have limited resources. This country is like Eden, where God's running it, and you just speak things into being. We have X amount of water. We have X amount of energy. Our sewage system can only take but so many people. We need to really start thinking about, for instance, how many doctors, how many medical professionals you need per million of a population in order to be able to provide them with adequate access to health care. And I'm not talking free health care, because I don't believe in that health care is the right garbage. You got to pay for it. But you can have all the money in the world, and if there's only like X amount of doctors in your country, you're not going to see your doctor. So it's not a matter of money at that point. It's a matter of quantity. How many do you have? Are the people coming across the border, are they low-skilled workers, or are they doctors that we need and nurses that we might need and pharmacists and things like that? Those are things we need to take into consideration, because we can't help other countries if we're drowning too. When your oxygen mask, when the stewardess tells you on your flight, your oxygen mask drops, if pressure drops, and they tell you put your oxygen mask on you first before you put it on your favorite kid. The other one you don't really care about. Just kidding. But you put your oxygen mask on yourself first before you put it on your child, because your kid's not going to be able to help you if you're passed out. So we need to take care of America first. Yeah, it sounds horrible, but it's the truth. We're not going to be able to help anyone if we're in dire straits. So I think that should be our border policy. It needs to be more merit-based and skill-based than it is just come on in, just, your body, come on in, we'll take you on a bus, drop you off here, and you're on your own. That's not fair to anybody. But that's my comment. What's yours? Like, share, comment, and subscribe.